When you look around the world, there are tendencies for people to ask questions like, is God sovereign on earth? Other people may ask, is there really God? And people are concluding to say, if there is God, why would he keep silent, seeing terrible things happening all around the world, seeing children being massacred in the war front? Is God God of injustice? Why would he see where people are being oppressed, racism, a lot of things going wrong on earth, and he keep silent? Why? These questions are concerns to people who really believe that there is God.
The good news about our God is that he's got plans for you. He's got dreams for you, hopes for you, expectations for you. And it doesn't matter that they know all your business in the streets. The good news is that God is still calling you.
In the world full of bad news, pestilences, and destructions, people are looking for where to hear the good news. Welcome to Christian Together, bringing you the good news.
My name is Okocha Happy Marcel. Today, I want to speak with you about the sovereignty of God on earth. Just as I was saying, when you look around the world, even you yourself could be tempted to ask, why is God keeping silent, seeing everything happening? God is omniscient, he knows everything, and he is omnipotent. He has all powers. Therefore, what is stopping God to act? A lot of people who believe in God, some of them are barren, some of them are sick, even sick unto death. What is stopping God to act? A lot of accidents happening on the road. People are crying. A lot of nations are going through war, ranges of war. Terrible things are happening. And the question remains, why is God silent? And why is it that God is not stopping all these things that are going on? It is very important for you to know this, that God is sovereign until he speaks. God is sovereign until he speaks. And let me remind you about the famous chapter and verse of the Bible you know. In Genesis chapter 1 verse 26, you know what God said after he wanted to create a man. He said, let us make man in our own image, after our own likeness, and let them have dominion. God did not say, let us have dominion. He said, let them have dominion. So God has done a delegation to man. God has delegated his authority, his dominion to man. So for God to act, you need to invite God before God could act. And inviting God does not necessarily mean that immediately you pray, you make things happen. Inviting God, first of all, has to do with the relationship between you and God. So when you have this good relationship between you and God, definitely is one of the best way to invite God to what you are doing. Because if you don't have a good relationship between you and your king or you and your boss, even though your king has delegated a work for you to do, when you don't have a good relationship with him, definitely there will not be a good flow of communication and feedback from the king. And that is why today I want to tell you that God is not responsible of that accident that has happened in your city, in your community, in your country. God is not responsible for the wars that are going on. God is not responsible for children that are being massacred. Then the question is, who are responsible? And I have come to tell you that you and I are responsible. We have to accept this responsibility of making this world a better place, because God himself has delegated his authority, his power. He has delegated everything to us to manage, to control every creeping thing upon the face of the earth. These were his exact words in Genesis chapter 1, from verse 26 to 28. God told us through the scriptures the reason why he made man. He said, let them have dominion. And dominion is a product or a result of you replenishing, controlling, reproducing, doing the things that God said you should do. When you do, then you have dominion. And I have come to accept that everything going on this world is man's fault. because we do not acknowledge the sovereignty that God has bestowed upon us. We do not acknowledge, first of all, that we were made in the image of God. And that is why people should understand their identity. People fail to understand their identity. And that is, anytime I'm reading the story of the fall of man in Genesis chapter 3, I could figure out that man right from time has a problem of identity. Could you imagine that the devil came and told Eve, God knew that if you eat this forbidden fruit that he instructed you not to eat, you will be like him? That is false, because God already made you in his image and likeness. So if devil comes to tell you that if you eat this fruit, you will be like God, you could see that devil is only deceiving you because you don't know your identity. Maybe I was expecting Eve to reply the devil, I am already like God because I was made in his image and likeness. The problem of identity is killing our world. We need to understand our root, where we are coming from, so that we'll be able to know where we are going to. God is a God that cannot fail. God respects his word. He said in the book of Psalm, I put my word above my name. He said in the book of Matthew that heaven and earth may pass away, but not any iota of word that God speaks that will not come to pass. That is God for you. So God has spoken, and when he speaks, it becomes a law. So let us have it in mind that so many things that are going on, that we are not using the gift, the wisdom, the ability that God has given us to act. We are responsible. The sovereignty that God has on earth has been given to man. And another thing I want you to understand in this particular video is this. You are number one on earth because you allow devil or God to walk on earth. God cannot do anything on earth without the collaboration of man. Even when he wants to destroy the world with water, he have to ask Noah to do something to build an ark. He said, when you are done building the ark, I will send rain. Now, God wants to send rain to the earth. God wants to destroy the earth. But if Noah did not finish building the ark, the rain will never and can never fall. The sovereignty of man. God has dedicated power to man on earth. When God wanted to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, he spoke to Abraham. If I could see men that are holy, I will not destroy this place. Abraham started deliberating and bargaining with God. What about 50? What about 20? What about 5? That is the form of permission. That God don't do anything without collaborating with men. Anything God wants to do, even when God wants to come now and redeem us, he needs to come in form of a man. Because he cannot break his word. Let us give man dominion upon the face of the earth. So, that gift you have, that wisdom of God that is in you, all those things you have, if you do not use them, then devil may use them. So, it is a hard time that we need to understand that the world is in our hand. If we use it right, it's going to be a better place for us. If we use the wisdom of God right, this world will be a nice place to all of us. And don't forget to ask yourself these questions. Who am I? Where am I coming from? Why am I on earth? What can I do? And where am I going to? Until we meet again in my next video. My name is Okocha Happy Marcel. Shalom.